any nation in the world, it grows from its resources. Resources are not limited only to the materials that we produce, but it starts with the people, its people. That's how it builds its wealth and its resources. However, I think a fact that we are discussing here is a nation which mismanaged its currency, and now it seeks to enrich the executive bench by running an economy using another nation's currency or other nations' currency. It's not just a scapegoat. It's not just but mismanagement. It is intended and planned to loot the country using foreign currencies as trading instruments on our land. And now, the man who has just finished presenting before you, Jeffries, came through. He's living in a foreign country. If he goes to the bank, other than using his bank card, he'll be holding new notes. He wants to present as though printing of notes is a taboo. When somebody who prints notes and does not know why they should be printing those notes, that is exactly why an economy will fail. But we are saying if the government would to print notes equivalent to their gold, which they have, that won't be bad money. And that money won't harm anybody in the society. That is exactly how we define a middle income economy.
No, money is not actually benchmarked on gold. Money is benchmarked on production.
How do you get
Market.
that gold? How do you
That
get that
is not
gold?
benchmarked
I
on
said, how
gold.
do you get that gold?
Look here. You
I
are
said,
Tenzo.
how do you get that gold? Answer that question before you proceed, or
This
else you
is what
can't
I'm
produce.
going. This is what I'm trying to answer.
I will
I
block
said
you.
to you, money is not benchmarked on
I
gold.
said, how is gold produced?
It's mined.
It's a production.
It's mined. You
I
see,
said it's a
but
production.
yes, but then money is not benchmarked on gold. Money is benchmarked on how much are you producing
You are
and
behind.
selling.
You
You
are
see,
behind.
nobody.
When were you
Your
born?
your understanding of
I
economics
said, when were
is
you born?
rudimentary.
No, why?
How
When were you
economic
born?
we have
When
to
has
understand
gold
how
not
things
become a
work,
standard of money?
not to just give rudimentary information which misleads our people. It's not
Okay.
fair.
No, 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 no.
Thank you very much. Anyway, have a good day. There is nothing to discuss anymore because
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
you are
There
now
is
on a
no need.
propaganda
There
spree.
is no need for you to
Hmm.
try to speak on a subject
You are
you
now
don't
on a
knowledge about.
propaganda spree. Have a
Ah.
good day. Panoira zuva munenge mazvimba musoro nokugenerata misleading
Handiri
information.
kuona zvawakuita mani chakubhana. Unoda kusvibisa pfungwa dzavanhu nokutaura negative
Ini
information.
handina basa nokubhaniwa. Ndinoshandisa dhata rangu nefoni yangu.
It's
Hakuna
okay.
munhu anondibhana pasocial media ndiine dhata rangu nefoni. Ndoenda somewhere. I will discuss with other people.
Yes, Algera propaganda series. Anyway, Jeffries, this is what we were talking about. We are having a big problem, with executive governments that install themselves, oppress people, loot the wealth, allow people to live in poverty, never have social nets, and people are suffering, and there's nothing they can do. But yet, the top echelon is traveling from one city to another using planes. They can't even drive on those roads because they are full of potholes. They can't fix the roads, yet they take all the minerals which are mined out of the country. They are the miners. They take the government resources and they use them to extract wealth for themselves, which become family wealth. And that is how dangerous and bad it is. And then you have people who are sympathetic to those regimes that then give a wrong story about what people should be listening to. It's quite disappointing and worrying. And then they appear like they have good knowledge about how economies ought to be managed, yet it's not so. We have a nation that has capacity to run its own currents, but it's deliberately choosing to loot. Because when you are running an economy using another country's currency, you can manipulate that currency by transfer costs, by inflating imports, by exporting and then never returning those proceeds back to the country. There are lots of loopholes for money laundering. And this is exactly, they understand that as long as we are using these currency, having it in the country or out of the country will not make any difference. Because they believe that the day the civilians are likely to catch wind of what's happening, they will revolt against us. So they capture the auditor general, they capture the courts, they capture the police, they capture every institution that must protect the nation's wealth. And this is the reason
So
why Africans can't
is there,
develop.
but is there a king on your money or a queen on your money?
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat yourself, Jeffrey?
Is there a queen or king on your money?
Or you mean to say, yeah, yeah, they tried to put in yeah, something like that from our ancestors. They tried to do that.
So there isn't. So I still have a king. I have a queen on my money as a Canadian, you know? So I still have the culture of what it was. So if you don't have a king or queen on your money, so you're a little bit further out, but we're still very close. You know, it's the same thing. You know, it's a system that works. You know, this is how we're going to play it. And we're going to find the best way through, I guess. It's the kings and queens,
But
you
but
know?
but go to basics, Jeffrey. I'm saying we have a nation that does not have a working currency. That's what I'm talking about.
But what's the
Controversial.
currents? You have nothing
They
to
use
deliver.
other nations' currency,
Yeah,
like
but what
you
does
are.
your country have to deliver? Is it a message? I don't know. You know, America has something to deliver. Canada has something to deliver. What's your country have to deliver?
Um, can I learn what do you deliver in Canada?
Oil. There's something. It's called potash, and and it makes dirty ground grow again. It's
Okay,
fertilizer, I
okay,
guess. And
okay. Let
then
me
there's
say.
also like the stuff that
Let
they
me
make
let
nuclear
me tell
energy
let
out
me
of,
tell you.
and we have so much things in Canada. Actually, Canada is
Okay,
fucking filled
let
with
me
it.
tell you what our nation delivers. Listen, what let me tell you what our nation delivers. It delivers all the rare minerals that the world requires. The
But
minerals that are
okay, but when you say that,
let me
you
finish. Let
say
me
that.
finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Let me finish. Let me finish, Jeffrey. Let me finish. Be patient with me. You know the rare minerals that America requires. I don't even want to substandard to give a standard of what the rare minerals America requires. But I'm saying all the rare minerals that America is probably getting from China and maybe Eastern Europe, all of them, they come from the better part of Africa. They go to China, they go to East Africa, to Eastern Europe, and eventually America imports them from those countries. That's what they are producing. That is what is making the Asian economies balance. They are actually using the extraction that comes from our country. I think I have given you a snippet of what it is.
Yeah, and I think, there's other countries with like better approaches to it, right? Like America right now is like the fuck you country, right? They told us fuck you, and everybody else is saying fuck you too, right? So we all have our own things to deliver. Every country has their own things to deliver. America's very much been at the cusp of we own everything. So now, there's African countries, Canadian countries that get to decide different stories for themselves. So what are we going to do to make ourselves better in the next phase of it all, right? And within your own country, how do you see it? Like, what can your country do? Like, I think there's the politics of kings and queens in my country, but I think you think that too, So, but how is your country gonna benefit from that understanding? The best way to move your country forward, There's how many countries in Africa? 52 or 54?
Yeah,
And how are you
54.
guys gonna and how you guys gonna do 54 countries to make Africa better, the continent? You have 54 fucking countries. As a
Yes,
Canadian, I hope you fucking do better.
absolutely. We can do better. But I want to catch the gist of your argument. I've told you that the undoing thing for the governments in some instances is that the governments have neglected its people. They are only looking after lining up their wallets. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, the kings and queens have been forever, and we want order. I believe in order, and the kings and queens are part of the order situation. So yes, we could find some of that, but yes, I agree. But how are you going to make it better? Like we don't have solutions. We're too busy complaining. We complain all the fucking time. There's no better ideas. There's just fucking complaining ideas. So once we find better ideas, then maybe we move forward. Maybe that's why America does so well because they
No,
don't give a shit
no,
about ideas. They just
no,
fucking make their own.
no. We have the idea. We have the idea, and the idea is simple. How do you change your government if you are not happy in Canada? How do Americans change their government when they are not happy in America? And the idea
I
is
think
that
it's beyond government though, because government. It's a uh, government is just something stopping you from pushing too far. You know what I mean? So there's ideas which you do need government. I believe in government because the kings and queens lasted so ever to put the bumpers on. So we get so hold on a second, let's not go too fast. So there needs to be some sort of restriction to block us a little from creating all these ideas. Because guess what? There's a lot of bad ideas too. You know, so
but Jeffrey, are you deliberate in avoiding the influence of democracy in any society? Are you deliberately avoiding that? Because I thought you would definitely talk to how people can influence a change of their government. If they are not happy, like maybe you were giving an example of what's happening in America and the other countries have said, okay, we'll stand on our own. Don't you realize, one, that was a solution, but for foreign countries. But within the inland US, they have an opportunity to change that government by voting another person. And I think that's obvious even for Canada. They have recently changed when when their prime minister resigned. You guys picked up another leader who is running with the government right away now.
but
And I
isn't
think
it
he's doing
interesting?
well.
But isn't it interesting that, we don't find any leaders that we truly like? We only find leaders that we think, it's going to be cheaper for us. Isn't that a shitty way of looking at life? And, even as Trump coming in, we voted for Trump. No, I didn't vote for Trump because I'm Canadian. But people voted for Trump because he was the idea of not taking you down a circumstance of everybody had the same perspective. That's why
Yeah.
people voted for Trump. Because you know what? Before that, everybody had the idea, we're going to go down a road that everybody's going to have like 53 fucking COVID vaccines, And then Trump came into office, and then we don't need 53 COVID vaccines anymore. There's a reason for everything. And Trump's not the best solution for the situation, but he was the one that was required for the situation. So even as we move forward in this time that we have no idea what's next, he doesn't have no idea what's next, and he's the leader of the United States. But we all have these things, it's a circumstance, and here we are. And what's the best idea forward? We'll figure it out as we go along, I guess. I don't know. It's how I look at it.
Jeffrey, I understand, but do you believe in democracy? Just a
Of
simple
course I
question.
do. You know what? I
Do,
do believe in democracy,
do
but
you
you
think?
want to know something? You want to know something? There's going to be a socialist system coming because you know what? There's robots coming, and guess what? No jobs after. So guess what? There has to be a socialist system after. But I believe in democracy. So we are in temporary times, and I might not see it in my lifetime. You might not see it in yours, but there's a socialist system coming because the robots is coming. What do you think about that, my friend?
Is can we find democracy in socialist systems? Because we seem to think and believe that socialism has nothing to do with how we select our leaders.
Well, the problem
Socialism is
is
probably
are we going to be? The problem is when the
socialism is
machine.
probably an economic paradigm as opposed to how we should be selecting our leaders. We can still run a democratic society which is distributing its wealth in a socialism manner. And it's very possible to do it that way. That's why we have social democracy in Eastern Europe.
Well, the kings and queens are going to want to hold on as long as they can. That's for sure. And I think we saw that with COVID. But we are coming to a new era where the machine is going to take all the jobs. The machine. And I work with my hands, and I understand this.
And I
My days are
believe
numbers. My days are numbered.
I don't even see that machine as a threat as long as there's a responsible government. If there are social needs that are taken
What, a
care of
responsible
entirely
government that
people,
says you're going to be the last one? Is that a responsible government that says you're going to be the last? No, everybody's going to run for the first. Believe me. So you have to run for the first too. That's why didn't disappear. Because if everybody was going to run for the safety, AI would disappear a long time ago. The AI did disappear. Now China has fucking lasers that shoots into space, and they're going to fucking drop all the fucking drones before they get anywhere. Right?